All right, so today we're going to kind of dive into something that I think a lot of people struggle with, and that's how do we like take complex information, the kind of stuff that comes from like real in-depth research.
Yeah.
And we're going to be looking at a presentation by Pedro Camargo that you sent to us, and it's full of great ideas on how to communicate.
Yeah, how to get that information across.
Right, how to get that across effectively.
Yeah, to a broader audience.
So whether you are like trying to get people to fund your project, or you're trying to stay on top of like the latest developments in your field, or you're just, really curious, you just like learning new stuff.
Yeah.
Our goal today is to sort of break down Camargo's main points and see what we can learn.
Yeah, and really like bridge that gap between like the expert knowledge and then getting it out to everyone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
where should we start?
Yeah, so Camargo really highlights this problem, right?
Yeah,
These researchers, they spend years sometimes. Yeah.
Digging deep into a topic.
Absolutely.
But then when it's time to actually present their work to people outside of their little, niche, the message just doesn't seem to connect.
It's like they're speaking two different languages almost.
Yeah, it really is. It's like a disconnect between...
It's a translation problem.
Yeah.
Like you have all this knowledge and these like intricate findings, but then how do you package that for someone who doesn't have that background?
Yeah.
That's the challenge Camargo's getting at.
Exactly. And he makes this point that, effective communication, it's not just like a nice to have.
Oh, yeah. No, it's essential.
It's crucial.
It's crucial for the research to actually like succeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
He really emphasizes that.
Absolutely.
And he thinks a lot of research is underfunded because people aren't explaining clearly enough.
Yeah. They're not getting the message across about why it matters.
Like how this is going to impact society or the economy.
Right. Exactly. It's like...
If you can't explain
If you can't explain why it matters...
Oh, why should anyone?
Yeah. Who's going to give you money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not just about avoiding like negative outcomes like not getting funding.
Oh, absolutely.
He actually says that being a good communicator opens doors.
It opens up so many opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah, like think about collaborations or partnerships that could come about if people really understood the value of the work.
Right. And he gives this really like kind of shocking statistic.
Oh, yeah?
He says that research that's poorly communicated gets significantly less funding.
Significantly less.
Than projects where the value is like clearly explained.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's like a wake-up call, right?
Absolutely. It's like it's not just about being understood. It's about the survival of the research itself.
Yeah, it's about the research actually being able to happen.
Right, because if you think about it, like there could be these incredible breakthroughs out there that could help with some of the world's biggest problems.
Yeah.
But if no one understands what they are or why they're important, then what's the point?
Right. They just stay hidden.
Exactly.
So we get it. You got to be a good communicator.
Yeah. So what are some of the pitfalls we need to avoid?
Yeah. Like what are some of the mistakes that people make when they're trying to explain this complex stuff?
Right.
And Camargo highlights a few.
Yeah, he does.
The first one is something I think we've all experienced.
Oh, yeah.
Jargon overload.
The jargon overload.
I feel like when you're so deep in a subject,
Yeah.
you just naturally use all this like...
The technical terms, the acronyms.
Yeah.
It's like a whole different language.
Right. And you forget that other people don't speak that language.
Right. And that's where the communication breaks down.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're trying to have a conversation with someone in a language they don't understand.
Yeah, it's just noise to them at that point.
And another pitfall he talks about is he calls it missing the so what.
Ah, yes, the so what.
And this is basically like you get so caught up in the details of your research.
The nitty gritty.
Yeah, you forget to explain like why should anyone care about this?
Right. Why does it matter to the average person?
Exactly. Like what's the big picture here?
What's the takeaway?
Yeah. And then there's the passion gap.
Oh, the passion gap. That's a good one.
Have you ever been to a presentation where the speaker clearly knows their stuff?
Oh, yeah.
But they're just like so boring.
It's like they're reading from a textbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no energy.
No excitement.
No storytelling.
No storytelling. And that's key,
Yeah. And Camargo's point is that this lack of passion actually makes it harder for people to understand and engage with the information.
It's true. Like you could almost feel the audience tuning out.
Right. Because if you're not excited about it, why should they be?
Right. Exactly.
So we've talked about some of the things to avoid.
The pitfalls.
Yeah, the pitfalls.
Yeah.
So now what do we do?
Right. So how do we actually improve our communication?
Yeah. Camargo talks a lot about tailoring your message.
Tailoring the message.
Which sounds obvious.
Right.
But it's surprising how often people don't do it.
Yeah. It's easy to forget who you're talking to.
Yeah. And he specifically talks about tailoring the message for a non-technical audience.
Yes, because it's not about dumbing it down.
Right.
It's about reframing it.
Right.
So that it makes sense to them.
Yeah.
You got to meet them where they're at.
And a big part of that is explaining, like,
the why.
Yeah, why should anyone care?
Yeah, what's the relevance to their lives or their work?
Right.
Or to society as a whole?
Yeah, like what's the societal or commercial relevance?
Yeah, that's the question you always got to be thinking about.
Yeah, if you can answer that clearly,
yeah,
you're already halfway there.
Absolutely.
And then he talks about the power of storytelling.
Ooh, storytelling.
Which is so important.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's not just about, like, presenting facts and figures.
Right.
It's about crafting a narrative.
Yes.
That people can connect with.
Because stories are how we make sense of the world.
Yeah, and he emphasizes using clear language.
Nah.
Ditching the jargon.
No jargon.
Like we talked about before.
Yeah, keep it simple.
And framing your research around, like, a problem or a challenge.
Yeah. Something that people can relate to.
That resonates with people.
Yeah, giving them something to latch onto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you can do that, then the information becomes...
So engaging.
Way more engaging.
And more memorable.
Yeah. They'll actually remember it.
Exactly.
So he gives some specific examples of how to tell a good story.
Like what?
Real-world examples are really helpful.
Oh, for sure.
You know, even if Camargo didn't use a ton in his presentation,
yeah,
you can see how it would apply to so many fields.
Absolutely.
Like if you're talking about a new scientific discovery,
yeah,
giving a real-world example,
yeah,
or even like a hypothetical scenario,
mm-hmm.
can make it so much more tangible.
Yeah, people can picture it then.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if you're talking about a new piece of technology,
yeah,
showing how it can solve a problem that people actually face.
Yeah, like a real world problem. Yeah, that makes it relatable.
That makes it click.
And data visualizations are another great tool.
Oh, yeah.
You know, instead of just showing a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that.
You can use charts and graphs to illustrate the trends and the impact.
Yeah, and it makes it so much easier to understand.
It's much more visually appealing.
Yeah, it's engaging.
And he also talks about having a clear call to action.
A call to action.
Now, I know for you, the listener, you know, the call to action is more about like reflecting on this and thinking about how you can apply it.
Right.
But in a presentation about research,
yeah,
that call to action might be about outlining the next steps. Yeah. Or suggesting areas for collaboration, or explaining the broader impact you're trying to achieve.
Or like, what's the ultimate goal here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if it's not like a direct request for the audience to do something, just explaining the potential of the research is a really strong way to end your story.
It leaves people with something to think about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then Camargo moves on to this really important topic of presenting with confidence.
Ah, yes. Confidence.
Because you can have the best research in the world, the best story.
The best everything.
But if you don't deliver it well, the message is going to get lost.
It's all about the delivery.
Yeah. And he really stresses the importance of practicing.
Oh, practice, practice, practice.
Yeah. Like rehearse your presentation.
Yeah.
Figure out where you might stumble. Get comfortable with the material.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
It really does.
Yeah.
And he talks about using clear slides.
Yes, slides are key.
And this is a big one for me.
Yeah.
Don't overload your slides with text.
Oh, yeah. Death by PowerPoint.
Yeah, no one wants to read a novel on a slide.
Right. Keep it concise.
And the visuals should support the message, not distract from it.
They should be visual aids.
Right.
Like actually helping people understand.
Yeah, and of course you got to be enthusiastic.
Oh, yeah. Enthusiasm is contagious.
You got to believe in what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that passion will come through.
It'll make people want to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he also acknowledges that a lot of people struggle with stage fright.
Stage fright. Oh, yeah. That's a real thing.
Yeah. So what do you do if you're nervous?
Right. Like, how do you overcome that?
Well, he suggests investing in some training.
Yeah. Like public speaking training.
Yeah.
Communication skills.
There's all sorts of workshops and courses.
Yeah. There's tons of resources out there.
Yeah. And he also recommends getting involved in science communication initiatives.
Oh, yeah.
Like events and stuff where you can actually practice.
Yeah. Get some real world experience.
And get feedback.
And connect with other people who are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Camargo finishes up by talking about resources and best practices.
Yeah.
And he really frames effective communication as like a continuous process.
It's not a one-time thing.
Yeah, it's not like you learn it once and you're done.
Right. It's ongoing.
You got to keep learning and adapting.
Yeah. Because the communication landscape is always changing.
Yeah. New tools, new techniques. So you got to stay on top of it.
Yeah, always be learning.
And he mentions online resources and even social media.
Social media.
Not just for sharing your work, but also for learning from others.
Yeah, seeing what other people are doing.
Yeah, and seeing how they're communicating effectively.
And you can reach a wider audience that way, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he talks about the value of mentors.
Mentors, oh, yeah.
Having someone who can give you guidance and feedback.
Yeah, someone who's been there, done that.
Yeah, it's
so helpful.
It can be invaluable.
Yeah. And he brings it all back to this idea that effective communication is directly linked to the impact of your research.
Absolutely.
And even to your career.
Yeah.
If people understand your work, it's more likely to have an impact.
And you're more likely to get recognized for it.
And you're more likely to advance in your field. It all ties together.
So to sum it all up,
Yeah.
this deep dive into Camargo's presentation has really shown us that
effective communication
is about more than just data.
It's about meaning.
It's about translating that data into something meaningful.
Yeah.
Telling a compelling story.
Yeah.
And connecting with your audience.
On a human level.
On a human level.
Yeah.
He's saying that making your work understood is absolutely essential.
It's not optional.
It's not optional.
Yeah.
If you want your research to reach its full potential.
Right. And if you want to open up new possibilities.
And if you want to make a real difference.
Absolutely.
So let's bring it back to you, the listener.
Yeah.
Think about a time when you came across some information, maybe in your own field.
Yeah.
Maybe in something completely different.
Yeah.
And it just felt impossible to understand.
Like a brick wall.
Yeah. What were the barriers?
Yeah. What made it so difficult?
Was it the jargon?
Yeah.
Was it a lack of context?
Was there no clear explanation of why it mattered?
Yeah. Why should I care?
Exactly.
So thinking about those barriers, how could you use the principles we've talked about today to overcome them?
Yeah. Like, how can you tailor your message?
How can you tell a better story?
Yeah.
How can you present with more confidence?
Yeah.
Because that's how you bridge the communication gap.
Yeah.
And that's how you make your work.
And the work of others.
And the work of others.
Yeah.
Understood.
And ultimately have a bigger impact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thanks for diving deep with us today.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.